People keep saying that Lamine Yamal was robbed, but the numbers just don't back it up. Welcome back to Soccer Etc., where we discuss headlines, culture, and everything in between. Today, we're breaking down the Ballon d'Or chaos, Chelsea's bomb squad, Paul Scholes tearing into Marcus Rashford, and why investments from US soccer stars like Gio Reyna to Alex Morgan could change the future of soccer in America. So we're going to jump into the biggest news in world football. Ousmane Dembele won the Ballon d'Or after leading PSG to its first ever Champions League title. And Lamine Yamal's father recently told a media outlet, quote, "I think this is the biggest, I won't say theft, but moral damage done to a human being because I believe Lamine Yamal is the best player in the world by a huge margin." End quote. Do I think Lamine Yamal is the best player in the world? Yes. But does that mean he should have won the Ballon d'Or this year? No. And here's why. The Ballon d'Or criteria focuses on players' performances and achievements over a single football season, not their entire career, with three key aspects in mind: individual performance, including statistics and decisive play, team achievement and their contribution to collective success, and class and fair play, reflecting their conduct and sportsmanship on and off the field. Look, Dembele had the season of his life. He played in 60 matches, he scored 37 goals, had 14 assists, and he won 4 trophies. That's hard to argue against. Meanwhile, Lamine Yamal played in 62 matches, 2 matches more, scored 21 goals, contributed 22 assists, and won 3 trophies, but he did it at the age of 18. Lamine Yamal is a generational talent. And if we're judging by impact, if that's what we're going to give the trophy out based on, then you have to put him as the winner, clearly. He's a breath of fresh air. He came out of nowhere. He's exciting to watch. He has personality, like he's not afraid to be himself. He's highly marketable, and he seems unfazed by it all, which is something that doesn't necessarily always come with this age. And if he puts together another season like he did this year, and he wins the Champions League, he's going to win the Ballon d'Or. So I get it. Pops he's not feeling particularly great about it. He's sad for his son. He's bummed out. This would have been literally a storytell ending to this season, but he's got so much life and career left in him. He's going to win it. And when he wins it, you guys are going to enjoy it that much more. Okay, moving on to Chelsea's bomb squad. Enzo Maresca recently criticized Raheem Sterling, comparing his father's 50 years as a fisherman to Sterling's struggles as a professional footballer. To me, I feel like this is just completely unnecessary, and in fact is an example of bad leadership, right? No one is going to disrespect Maresca's father's his hustle, his grind, 50 years of that. Him going out there, making an honest living, working his ass off to put food on his family's table, and most importantly, to give his children a better shot at life than he had. But at the same time, there seems to be this fascination with dismissing a professional athlete's struggles. They just assume that being a professional athlete is easy because you only work a certain amount of hours throughout the day. But the reality is it's a 24/7 nonstop grind. There's no downtime whatsoever. And you're under constant pressure to keep your body right. You have to perform in front of millions of people. You receive online abuse. You have a certain level of uncertainty when it comes to your contract, and a lot of times it's an isolating experience. They're completely different struggles, but both are valid. So I just wish that people can stop downplaying what professional athletes go through. I understand there's a lot of perks to it, but there's a lot of downsides. Okay, moving on. Paul Scholes called Marcus Rashford a disgrace, saying he walked around the pitch and lacked the mentality to ever be one of the best. Whew. Yeah. Look, Paul Scholes is referring to Marcus Rashford's time at Manchester United. And if there's ever a person that can be critical of a player, it's somebody that has walked in their shoes. And I think we are seeing something amazing happening in sports media that I certainly am benefiting from, which is we have an opportunity to step into a space that historically we've never been in. And we are getting a lot of these opportunities to speak about the game because we provide a player's perspective. But I think that we are going in a direction where we are speaking so raw and honestly about player performances that it is starting to negatively impact the clubs that we used to play for, and most importantly, the players that play for the clubs we love. Um, I think that fans love it. They love to get insight of to what makes their favorite players tick and maybe how they think and what the locker room culture is like. But at the same time, I think that members of the media, myself included, um, may find ourselves in a weird situation where players do not want to talk to us, and then we become just like the other journalists or members of the medias that we as players did not feel comfortable talking to because they were hypercritical. And that's not to say that professional athletes are above criticism and that they should not be criticized. The very nature of our work is public, and people pay good money to come and see us perform. So criticism is a given. But I do believe that there's a better way to go about sharing our thoughts, insights, and possibly giving feedback to the current players. Because what I would hate to see is that we lose these opportunities to speak about the game with major networks. And most importantly, we lose that connection between ourselves, the club, and ultimately the locker room, because it's that inside insight that makes us unique. So I think there needs to be a balancing act here. We got to figure out a way to criticize a player without criticizing the person, criticizing their game without, speaking bad about someone. Okay, moving on to the last segment of the day, player investment in U.S. soccer. Gio Reyna recently purchased a stake in USL club Fort Lauderdale United, and he's not the first nor the last player that has done this. I think it's amazing. I want to see soccer players do more of this. And the reality is that players are starting to make the bag, whether that be overseas or even here in the US. And them making these sort of business moves is inspiring to the next generation. It's inspiring to kids who may have not previously seen playing soccer professionally as a viable career path because there simply is not enough money in it. So I think that players seeing this is going to potentially encourage kids who would have otherwise played basketball or football to give soccer a try. And in addition to that, I think that this is going to give these players an opportunity to represent players in the boardroom, in the C-suites, and maybe give these business folk a little bit of a different perspective, potentially of what a player's plight is, what players want, what players need to go out there and perform and be the best or help put the best product on the pitch come game day, which will ultimately affect the bottom line in a positive way. So this is just all around for me a phenomenal move. I hope that we continue seeing it. And lastly, I think that it signals to sponsors and businesses that it's money well spent investing in soccer in America because it's growing. And I do not believe that it's going to stop growing after the 2026 World Cup. All right. And that brings a wrap to episode 3. Listen, I hope you guys like, subscribe, comment, share, do everything that you can possibly do to help this grow. It's going to continue getting better. I'm learning my chops, but this is a part of the fun you guys being a part of the ride with me. And I just truly appreciate all of you guys who are sitting here watching on YouTube or listening and taking time into your day. It means the world to me. So I appreciate it, and we keep going.